Hi guys, and welcome to the next video of this entire series. In this particular video, I will be discussing how we can manage retention tags and retention policies using PowerShell commands. I will be showing you how we can create different type of retention tags, how to create retention policies using PowerShell, how to add retention tags within the retention policies, and how you can apply that retention policy to a mailbox. When we create retention tags in Exchange Online, we specify four attributes. First, type of retention tag that we want to create. Second, name of the retention tag. Third, retention action and retention period. I have shared a separate session dedicated to retention tags and retention policies. I will share the link for that video in the comments section and you can watch it in case you have missed it. For this demo, just understand that retention tags are of three types: default policy tag or DPT, retention policy tag or RPT, and personal tag. Retention tags have three actions: move to archive, permanently delete, and delete and allow recovery. To create a retention tag, we use new hyphen retention policy tag command. If you want to apply a retention policy to a mailbox, it contains three steps. First, you create a retention tag. Second, you create retention policy and then you add retention tag within that policy. And third step is you apply retention policy to the mailbox. So first, we will see how we can create a retention tag from PowerShell. Let's create a default policy tag first, and we will create retention tag to move emails to online archive. So as I said, to create retention tag, the command is new hyphen retention policy tag. After that, we will specify what type of retention tag we are going to create. So for that, we will use switch type. Under type, you can specify if you want to create default policy tag, retention policy tag, or personal tag. If you want to create a default policy tag or DPT, then we will mention all, because default policy tag is applied on the entire mailbox, on all of the folders of a mailbox. When you compare retention policy tag with default policy tag, retention policy tag can be applied on folders, the default folders, for example, inbox, sent items, deleted items, or junk folder. Personal tags can be applied on emails or on the custom folders. So if you are going to create default policy tag, you will specify hyphen type all. If you want to create retention policy tag or RPT, then you will specify the name of the default folder on which you want to create or on which you want to apply that particular retention tag. If you want to create a personal tag, then you will mention type personal. So for now, we are going to create a default policy tag. So we will mention all. After that, we will specify the name for that particular retention tag that we are going to create. For example, DPT move to archive. So this is the name of the tag that we are going to create. Then we will specify the retention action. What action you want to take? You want to move your emails to online archive. You want to permanently delete your emails, or you want to delete and let your users to recover those emails. So under retention action, we will specify move to archive. Next switch that we are going to use is age limit for retention. Age limit for retention specifies a value that how older emails you want to move to online archive or how older emails you want to delete from your mailbox. So here you can specify the number of days. If you want to move 1 month older emails, then you can specify 30. If you want to move 1 year older emails, then you can specify 365. So this value will be in number of days. And the last switch we will mention retention enabled. If you are creating a retention tag from PowerShell, you need to use this particular switch, retention enabled, and here you can specify true. With the help of this switch, we will turn on this particular retention tag. If you do not specify this value, in that case, this particular retention tag will be disabled. You can create the retention tag, but it will remain disabled. So if you will apply this particular retention tag on any mailbox, this retention tag will not take any action. So that is the reason we need to specify hyphen retention enabled space $true and press enter. So this will create a default policy tag with this name, DPT move to archive. Now, if you want to verify the tag that you have created, for that command is get hyphen retention policy tag. And here you will specify identity, and within identity, you will type this name and then pipe FL. Press enter. Here you can check all the attributes of this particular retention tag that we just created. So here you can see retention action says move to archive. Age limit for retention is 365 days. Retention enabled is true. That means this retention tag is enabled or active. If you're going to apply this tag to a mailbox, this tag will take effect. This is the name that we specify for this particular tag. This is the retention ID. When you are troubleshooting or you want to check the retention tags, you can use this particular GUID and you can troubleshoot them. This is the GUID of the retention tag. If you are troubleshooting retention tags from MFC Mappy, then you can see this particular GUID in MFC Mappy tool. So with the help of this GUID, you can identify what sort of tag is applied on the mailbox. Now let's create a retention policy tag or RPT. As I said, retention policy tags can be applied to default folders. So when we create retention policy tag or RPT, either from Exchange Admin Center or from PowerShell, we specify to which folder we want to apply this retention policy tag. And one more thing I want to highlight that with retention policy tag, we cannot move emails to online archive. RPT or retention policy tag has only two actions, permanently delete and allow recovery. We cannot move emails to online archive using RPT. If your requirement is to move emails to online archive, then you can use default policy tag or personal tag. So if you want to create retention policy tag or RPT, then command is new hyphen retention policy tag hyphen type. Now within type, we will specify on which folder we want to apply this retention tag. When you create RPT or retention policy tag from Exchange Admin Center, you select the folders on which folder you want to apply this particular RPT. In the same way, in PowerShell, you will mention on which folder you want to apply this particular retention policy tag. So here we will specify the type, and that will be inbox. For example, we want to apply this particular tag on inbox. And then we will specify name for this particular tag. And this will be RPT. And let's say we want to permanently delete. So I will mention the same name, permanently delete. So the name of the tag is RPT permanently delete. Then we will specify the retention action. Retention action is permanently delete. Then we will specify age limit for retention, how older emails we want to delete from our mailbox, from our inbox. So that will be, for example, 30 days. And then we will use the last switch, which is retention enabled and $true. Press enter. So this will create a retention policy tag or RPT, which can be applied on inbox folder. Now let's understand how we can create personal tag from PowerShell. Personal tags can be managed by administrator, but they cannot be applied by administrator either from Exchange Admin Center or from PowerShell. Personal tags can be applied only by the end users either from Outlook client or from OWA. Being an administrator, we can create personal tags, but we cannot apply personal tag from Exchange Admin Center or from PowerShell. If you want to create a personal tag, the command will remain same, new hyphen retention policy tag. Then we will use switch type, and type will be personal because we are going to create personal tag. Then we will specify name. Name will be personal tag, and delete and recover. So this is the third action of a retention tag. Delete and allow recovery. We have discussed two actions, move to archive and permanently delete. And this is the third action, delete and allow recovery. So retention action will be delete and allow recovery. Then we will use switch age limit for retention, for example, 90 days, and then retention enabled. Retention enabled will be $2 and press enter. So this will create a personal tag. If you want to verify the attributes or if you want to check the configuration of this particular personal tag, you can run get hyphen retention policy tag hyphen identity. And here you can paste this name, pipe FL. So here you can check all the settings of this particular personal tag. Now the second step is to create a retention policy. We have created retention tag. Now we will create a retention policy. Then we will add retention tags within the retention policy. And then we will apply this retention policy to a mailbox. So the second step is to create a retention policy. If you want to create a retention policy, then command is new hyphen retention policy hyphen name. Name will be what name you want to give to this retention policy. For example, test retention policy. I hope I do not have a retention policy with the same name. After that, you will specify a switch to add retention tags. To add retention tags, you will specify retention policy tag links switch. Under this switch, you will specify what tag you want to add within this retention policy. For example, I want to add default policy tag. The tag that we created was DPT move to archive and press enter. So now this policy has been created with the name test retention policy and DPT move to archive retention tag has been added. Now, if you want to check the configuration of this particular retention policy, you can run get hyphen retention policy hyphen identity. And here you can type the name of the policy, test retention policy, and then pipe FL. Press enter. Here you can see retention policy tag links. DPT move to archive tag is added within this policy. Now the third step is to apply this policy to a mailbox. Now let's assume that you already have a policy and you want to add certain tags within this policy. For that, command will be set hyphen retention policy. For example, set hyphen retention policy hyphen identity test retention policy hyphen retention policy tag links. And here you can specify the name of the tag that you want to add. In above example, we created new retention policy and then we added this particular tag within the this policy. But if you already have a policy, retention policy, and you just want to add a retention tag within that policy, then you can use command set hyphen retention policy. And then you can mention this switch and you can add the retention tag. Now, the next step is to apply this retention policy on a mailbox. To apply retention policy on a mailbox, we use command set hyphen mailbox because we are going to make changes on a mailbox. We are going to apply this policy on a mailbox. So we will use command set hyphen mailbox hyphen identity. Then you can specify the username or email address of the user to which you want to apply this retention policy. And then you will use switch hyphen retention policy. And here you will specify the name of the policy that you want to apply. For example, we want to apply this policy. So we will specify this name and then press enter. Now this policy has been applied on this particular mailbox. But if you want to verify, for that you can run get hyphen mailbox hyphen identity user B pipe FL star and look for retention policy attribute. Here you can see retention policy attribute is set to test retention policy. That means test retention policy is applied to this particular user. In the same way, you can apply retention policy tags by creating a retention policy and then you can apply that policy to a mailbox. For example, you can create a new retention policy, new hyphen retention policy hyphen name, and here you can specify test retention policy 2. So as of now, I'm not going to add a retention tag. I will show you how you can add a retention tag within a policy which is already created. So for this, you will run set hyphen retention policy hyphen identity, type the name of the retention policy in which you want to add retention tag, and then use switch retention policy tag links. And here you can specify the name of the retention tag. Let me check what was the name for retention policy tag. Get hyphen retention policy tag, press enter. So this command will list all of the tags which are available within your tenant. So we created this one, RPT permanently delete. Okay, so we will add this particular tag within this policy. Let me copy it again. Okay, set hyphen retention policy hyphen identity test retention policy 2 hyphen retention policy tag links, and here you will specify the name of the retention tag that you want to add. Press enter. Now you can apply only one retention policy to a particular mailbox. For example, for user B, we have applied test retention policy. If I want to apply another policy, then the previous policy will be removed because you can apply only one policy to a particular mailbox. However, you can add multiple retention tags within a retention policy, and then you can apply that retention policy to a user mailbox. However, you should be aware of the precedence. What is the precedence of personal tag or default policy tag or RPT tags? If all three tags are applied within the same policy, then how these tags will action a particular mailbox? I have explained all these things within the retention policy tags video. You can go through that if you have missed it. Now, for example, if I'm going to apply this policy to the same mailbox, set hyphen mailbox hyphen identity user B hyphen retention policy. And here I will specify this name. So as of now, This user has this policy applied, test retention policy. Now I'm going to apply test retention policy 2. Now if I verify this again, now it will show test retention policy 2 because we can apply only one policy. So the old policy was removed when we applied the new policy. So if you have learned something new from this particular video, please write in comments and please subscribe to the channel. And guys, if you have any question related to the topics that I'm posting, please feel free to write in comments. I will be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Take care.